right, I want to go back and look at the latest developments on the Russia-Ukraine war. Joining me now to discuss this and a bit more, Congressman Scott Perry, who serves on several House committees, including the Foreign Affairs Committee and the Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence. He represents the 10th Congressional District of Pennsylvania. He's also a combat veteran who retired at the rank of Brigadier General after nearly 40 years in uniform. Congressman Perry, welcome back to Washington Watch. Thanks for taking time to join us.
Great to be with you, Tony. Of course, a lot happening, and we're all watching. Of course, Steve Witkoff headed to Moscow, and after meetings yesterday with Ukrainian officials and the president's folks, including the president's son-in-law down in Florida, it appears that Russia is going to continue to push the envelope, so to speak. Now they want Ukraine to give up territory that Russia is not even currently occupying. But at the same time, as you know, the world's losing, thousands of people every week in that war. And I think as time goes on, Ukraine's leverage becomes less and less. So it is a really difficult conundrum. And of course, I think that, look, the Russians are not to be trusted in any way, shape, or form in this. And I think we have to have an eye towards the future of what Russia might do once it's emboldened with whatever gains it makes in Ukraine. And we got to be thinking about that and any agreement that we come to with Russia over Ukraine, but also involving the rest of Europe.
But beyond Europe, Congressman, do we not have to be concerned about how China might be interpreting the outcome of these negotiations?
Well, without a doubt, but Russia does have the upper hand, and China is not in the same situation militarily, at least right now. Now, I think what you're talking about is would China kind of seek the same thing in Taiwan?
Exactly.
And I do think we have to be very mindful of that, although I can say that I don't think China makes a move on Taiwan as long as Donald Trump is the president. But he's not going to be the president forever, and we also have to be prepared for the future with that. And, keeping everything involved here, Syria is a factor as well, because Russia would like to move back into Syria under new management there. And so that's a factor that we should be considering in these discussions as well.
Is it peace at any cost? I mean,
obviously,
it
can't be
peace.
at any cost. Yeah, I hear you. We definitely want peace. We want peace for the European continent, for the Ukrainian people, for the Russian people that really don't want to be involved in this war and all the neighborhoods around there. But we simply cannot let Vladimir Putin continue to profit from this aggressive action that was taken unilaterally and unjustifiably. And so at some point, I think even he will push the limit of what's achievable. And so the question is, does he want to continue grinding down? He's losing soldiers as well in this war.
Well, he's not been able to bring this to a conclusion. I mean, and it doesn't look like it's going to happen anytime soon. But are the sanctions, the secondary sanctions on Russian oil, are they starting to work?
I think they will. I think it will take some time, particularly with India, but I think they will have an effect. And that's why I think that Russia is motivated to do as much as it can. But I'm going to say this, too. During the Biden administration, they were encouraging people or other countries to buy Russian oil. At the same time, they were funding the war with American tax dollars. So Russia, look, they look at American policy, and I imagine they shake their head sometimes, and they think if we can just wait this out, we'll get new management there and get away with whatever we want to. And
Congressman,
there's a history of that.
Congressman Perry, that is an excellent point. And it's something that Americans need to ponder very seriously. I've encountered that back when I was chairman of the U.S. Commission on International Religious Freedom. I'd go to some of these bad actors, and they'd say, well, so that's you've prioritized religious freedom now, but we'll wait 4 years. And our elections have been swinging back and forth. In fact, Scripture talks about that as a nation that has many princes. It's unstable. And a part of this goes back to the spiritual and the moral foundation of our nation, and that's where each and every American comes into play.
That's exactly right, and Americans that we got to be for our country and our country's interests, and don't worry about who the Republican is or who the Democrat is, but demand that what's good for America is good for the world, and try and stay on course about what's good for us. But oftentimes, of course, if the other party likes it, you have to hate it, or vice versa.
Right.
And that's no way to run a railroad.
You're absolutely right. And this is one where we have to have consistency in our government, because the world takes notice. And part of that is having a set standard, regardless of who the party is, and holding them accountable to that standard. Congressman, we're out of time, but it's always great to see you. Thanks so much for taking time to join us this afternoon.
Great to be with you, Tony. God bless you and your audience.
Thank you.